From the Delhi studios of Republic TV, it's time for Arnab Goswami on the debate.
Arnab Goswami on the debate at 10, powered by RP Sanjeev Goenka Group.
My guest in this next segment is the Governor of West Bengal, and he's on the screen right now, viewers. Let me introduce him before we go to our next report. Jagdeep Dhankar, West Bengal Governor, will be live with us in 2 minutes. But viewers, is it not political arrogance when Mamta tries to defy the summons that are aimed at making her state accountable for the unabated political violence? Here is how the political temperature is soaring in Bengal today. And then, as I said, we'll talk first to Bengal Governor Jagdeep Dhankar.
A torrent of stone pelting, bricks hurled at BJP leaders and attack on the convoy in the presence of Mamta's police. The attack on BJP cavalcade has become the biggest evidence of lawlessness in the state of West Bengal.
डेमोक्रेसी को शर्मसार करने वाला है, ऐसा बिल्कुल नहीं होना चाहिए था। और जिस पृष्ठभूमि में हुआ वो और भी चिंताजनक है। कल प्रातः से ही मैंने राज्य के चीफ सेक्रेटरी और डीजीपी को आगाह कर दिया था। उन्होंने मुझे आश्वस्त भी कर दिया था कि सब ठीक होगा। उसके बाद इस प्रकार का घटनाक्रम होना मेरे लिए चिंता का विषय है।
But the face-off between the centre and the state is set to get bigger. Mamta government has refused to send her chief secretary and DGP to meet MHA officials on December 14th.
Violation of the constitution. This is without jurisdiction. This is colorable exercise of power. This is deplorable. One can just deprecate it the way the things are doing by the central government.
But can the Mamta administration try and downplay an attack on at least 7 BJP leaders in broad daylight, the evidence of which is captured on camera?
यदि इतनी गैरजवाबदार सरकार हो, जिनको की जानकारी देने के बाद, इतला करने के बाद भी, यदि वो एक राष्ट्रीय स्तर के नेता की सुरक्षा नहीं कर सके, तो निश्चित रूप से बहुत बड़ी लापरवाही थी।
The face-off will escalate as Amit Shah is expected to land in Bengal for a 2-day campaign next week.
गृह मंत्री को रिपोर्ट भेज दी गई है राज्यपाल द्वारा। अब देखने वाली बात है कि जब गृह मंत्रालय बुलाएगा और गृह मंत्री से सीधे आमने सामने पश्चिम बंगाल के चीफ सेक्रेटरी और डीजीपी बात करेंगे तो क्या जवाब देते हैं वो, ये देखने वाली बात होगी।
Can those responsible for law and order in the state get away without accountability? Let's debate.
West Bengal Governor Jagdeep Dhankar is live now. Mr. Dhankar, good evening. Thank you for joining me. Dhankar ji, yesterday you summoned the Bengal Chief Secretary. And good evening, sir. And the DGP following the attack on Mr. Nadda's convoy. What did they tell you?
Arnab ji, I expected them to give me an update. They were called upon to give me an update. And this was particularly in the background that early morning I had cautioned both the DGP and the Chief Secretary. I had called the DGP personally at 8 o'clock, given them adequate material, indicated to them that move was afoot with the support of state apparatus to disrupt. At 8:19, the Chief Secretary of the state sent a message to me. And the message, Arnab was, quote, "Respected sir, I have alerted and sanitized the DGP." This was the message from Chief Secretary. When I found in the next half an hour, the situation was worsening. The people were acting on road in utter disregard of rule of law with the support of state apparatus. I was constant to send a message to both DGP and Chief Secretary at 9 o'clock. I indicated material to them. I conveyed to them, have you given immunity to be loaned to themselves? And I shared my anguish that I am put to shame by your acts of omission and commission. Both the senior gentlemen, after 9 a.m., went into silence mode. The unfortunate incident that shamed Indian democracy happened hours thereafter. This kind of incident happening is a challenge to democracy and indicates that governance in the state of West Bengal is totally distanced from constitutional parameters and rule of law. I therefore expected both DGP and Chief Secretary to update me on this situation. Most unfortunately, most unexpectedly, in utter disregard to their conduct regulations, in violation to the high position they hold, they had nothing to offer to me. They gave no details whatsoever. They physically came and went. I expressed my displeasure to them. How can senior functionaries like this act in this manner? But Arnab in the state of West Bengal, police and administration are heavily politicized. These public servants act as political workers. Not only they act as political workers, they act as frontline political workers. I have questioned the administration a number of times. Their conduct doesn't allow them to do this. If they do it, they violate law. They will have to face the consequences. Good parties, many of them have heeded my advice. But some are still continuing with old tactics. And they are continuing with this old tactics for the reason
But
they
Mr.
have become
Thankar,
stakeholders.
yeah, Mr. Thankar, I am getting concerned about a situation where there is virtually no constructive communication on both sides. Now, there can be political differences, there can be a political battle, but two things cause me concern. The first, the manner in which your name is taken. If you see now, I find in the local media the comments of the leaders of the Trinamool Congress and the way they speak about you personally. They refer to you personally and they talk about you almost as if you are a rival politician, not the governor. So that is one issue which causes me concern. But leave that aside. What causes me concern is now the Bengal government has told the Union Home Ministry that we will not, the Chief Secretary and DGP will not go to Delhi on the 14th. They refuse to give an explanation. They say we are busy. We cannot visit Delhi despite the Home Ministry summoning them. Now what is going on then? If there is an absolute situation where officials have gone into non-cooperation mode, it holds dangers for our federal spirit, for center-state relations, Mr. Thankar.
I am extremely worried at the conduct of senior functionaries. This is not expected of them. This has potential to pose a serious threat to the federal polity of this country. The ground that they're taken is absolutely untenable. But let me tell you, look at the pain I have to suffer when Chief Minister of the state, a constitutional functionary, tells a person living in another state as an outsider. Arnab ji, would you be outsider in the state of Punjab? Would you be outsider in the state of West Bengal? Or would I be outsider in the state of Maharashtra? And that she does with respect to constitutional functionaries. She has forgotten the preamble of the Indian Constitution says, we the people of India. I get reports from people who remark to me, Governor, How can a chief minister so elected under oath of the constitution violate the constitution? She is treating our own people, citizens of Bharat, as outsiders and is fraternizing people who are outside the country. This is a serious challenge to democracy. This is not the only aspect which worries me. In the state of West Bengal, political activity can take place only if you are born homey with the ruling party. If you are on the right side of ruling party, and that was shown on 10th of December. Would you know the detail of 10th December? The entire world was celebrating it as Human Rights Day. And as governor, constitutional head, I suffered the pain when human rights were in flames, democracy was in danger, and all this happened in spite of my cautioning them. Another serious, worried aspect is that communications from my side are continuously there to the Chief Minister. She is in non-responsive stance. She doesn't reply to
What do
them.
you mean?
No,
what do you mean by communication? You mean your communication with Mamata Banerjee?
Yes.
Does she respond to you?
Under the Indian Constitution, Article 167, Chief Minister has a duty towards the governor. I am quoting the article as it is. I keep on asking a number of questions. She doesn't respond to them. Let me give you a small illustration. Retired officials have been engaged by her. Purkaista as State Secretary Advisor. Reena Mitra as Principal Advisor, Internal Secretary. Half a dozen other people. They are acting as super bosses. I want to know what are their obligations. No response comes for more than a year. I have cautioned all these people who are virtually running the government for political purposes out of state exchequer that they are public servants. They are accountable. They are liable for their acts of omission and commission. There was Bengal Global Business Summit. For 5 editions have been there since 2015. The projected investment was 12,30,000 crores. As governor, I asked him, where is the investment? In which part of Bengal it is there? It is not there. On the State of Assembly, my predecessor was made to say that these projects are in advanced stage of implementation. I'm asking them questions. There are serious allegations that in organizing these extravaganzas, thousands of crores were spent. They were given to favored ones with no sense of accountability.
But then,
and no response.
But then they say, but they are looking at you as a political adversary now. Isn't that also a bizarre situation? You know, your comments, yes, their responses.
But Arnab,
they refer to you like you're a political adversary.
But you see, I
do understand, but tell me one thing. You have now. There is a. Sorry, Governor. You have submitted an entire report to the Home Ministry. You have said there's a constitutional breakdown. If there is a constitutional breakdown, why don't you recommend President's rule? I know elections are around the corner. I'm asking you. You have said there is a constitutional breakdown. If there's a constitutional breakdown, then the follow-up question is, why don't you recommend President's rule?
Arnabji, I have sent my report to the Union Home Ministry. I have not revealed the report to anyone. I'm sure no one has an idea what I have indicated. But one thing is very clear. A governor is required by his oath under Article 159 to preserve, defend, and save Indian Constitution. Mamata Banerjee has to act in accordance with the Indian Constitution. When I find her activities and actions far distant from constitutional parameters, I have cautioned her invariably in writing. So all those people who are trying to see motives of one nature or the other in my actions, I call upon them, and particularly a senior journalist like you.
Yes.
I have committed myself in writing. Please point out to me which is the action of this governor which has gone beyond constitutional parameters. And I will name number of instances where the Honorable Chief Minister tripped on this. Can you beat it? The kind of demonstrative act which the Chief Minister did yesterday. That video went viral. The kind of names he used, I got inputs from lot many people.
Which one? The one where she says Chadda, Nadda. That is the one you're talking about? The one where she spoke about Chadda, Nadda, Fadda, Bhadda. That is the one you're talking about? I thought it was very, very, it was very unbecoming of any person in high office to talk like that. I agree with you.
Unbecoming.
I agree with you.
It is an outrage on Bengali culture. A sense of Bengali culture has been decimated. I called upon her, reflect, please withdraw it. You need to do it apologetically because you hurt lot many people who believe in Bengali culture. And look at what happened. Diamond Harbour MP happens to be her nephew. He went on a similar tangent. I cautioned the young parliamentarian.
Yeah.
Those who have grown big.
Well, I mean, I think, yes.
Yes, Arnabji.
No, you were saying something. I'm sorry to interrupt. You said
no, I was
those
saying
who have...
that not only the Chief Minister, the program was in Diamond Harbour. The member parliament happens to be her nephew. He went on a tangent. I have cautioned the young man, he's a young parliamentarian, that those who grow big and really big by leaps and bounds have pitfalls for them. We expect people minimum decorum. There can't be a situation that political activity in the state of West Bengal can happen only if one has born homey with the ruling party or it is in sync with the ruling party philosophy. If that happens,
no, I take your point. I take your point. I can only say, can only say in summary that you are in a very, very, I would say, a very difficult position because you're being looked upon as a political adversary and clearly you are surrounded on all sides. Let's see where things go in what your report to the centre says. We'd love to have a peek at it. Thank you very much, West Bengal Governor Jagdeep Dhankar. Now, Anirban Banerjee, Mohammad Ehtashamul Haq, Syed Asad Abbas, what is going on here? I mean, there has to be a limit. Karuna Gopal is with us today, Raghav Avasthi, Gopal Krishna Agarwal, Rupa Ganguly is with us. I mean, Anirban, listen. Anirban, listen. There has to be, at some point of time, some level of political decency. There has to be political decency. Yes, you want to have okay, speak up, make your point. I'll have Rupa Ganguly respond to you.
Yes, of course. So the Honorable Chief Minister was being reprimanded by the Honorable Governor about her language. Fine. So whatever her language was, it didn't require any censorship on any news channel. But a few days back, the state president of the BJP, he used a three-letter word, a common word in both Bangla and Hindi, which had to be censored out completely out of every news channel. That was used with respect to the Honorable Chief Minister, who happens to be a woman. That was the kind of language the state president of BJP used for a woman. What was the Honorable Governor's stand on this language of Mr. Dilip Ghosh? Even a word, a single tweet?
Rupa Ganguly, point is made. I'll get Rupa Ganguly to respond. You're saying that, no, let me make it clear. You are trying to say that Mamta Banerjee used those words, made those faces and those expressions in response to somebody using despicable language against her. I heard you there. Now you hear Rupa Ganguly's response. You hear Rupa Ganguly's response. Thank you. Rupa Ganguly, I have limited time. We'll hear the response. Rupa Ganguly, please. Thank you. Rupa Ganguly, you heard Anirban there. It's time we hear both sides. It's time we hear both sides.
Yeah, मैंने नहीं सुना जिनके बारे में उन्होंने कहा, उन्होंने क्या कहा, मैंने नहीं सुना. क्या मैं अगर ये उन्होंने गलत बात किया है तो उसके लिए सही सरासर कार्रवाई होनी चाहिए. अगर वो अनपार्लियामेंट्री है, अगर क्या बोला उन्होंने मैंने सुना नहीं, मैं वहां पे थी नहीं। अगर है, मैं बता रही हूँ, अगर है तो आप लिखित रूप पे गवर्नर जी को चाहे चिट्ठी लिख के भेजिए।
महिला एमपी हुए और एक महिला राजनीति
बांग्ला चित्कार करबेन ना। I don't know why
আপনার একবারও মনে হয় না প্রতিবাদ করি
जो मैंने सुना नहीं
কেন শোনেননি সারা
मैंने हर बार हर एक चीज जो गलत बोला, जिसने जो गलत बोला उसके बारे में मैंने जवाब दिया।
No, she has not heard.
मुझे पता नहीं था। अगर
She has not heard, she says.
I have not heard.
She says, I'm not commenting on what Dilip Ghosh has allegedly said.
I do not know about this.
Why have you not heard, Maneki? How can you say? আমি আপনাকে শুনতে হবে? What do you mean? If she has not heard, she has not heard. Now, come on.
I will not.
How can she be?
I will not.
But you are also distracting the subject.
I will not vouch for anybody using any ugly language. I am not going to vouch for, I am not going to justify for any foul language. Any foul language, I will not justify for that.
He is not anybody.
If I don't know, there are.
He's the party state president.
That's what I'm telling you. That's what I'm telling you.
No, but you want to debate, then also ask.
If the state president has used ugly words, then why don't you write a letter to the governor, sir? Write a letter to the governor, sir. And he should be remanded. He should be told that you are not supposed to use such languages. Do that. Do that.
Syed Asad Abbas is responding right now to Rupa Ganguly. The debate is on.
Do that.
Syed Asad Abbas.
Rupa Ganguly ji, with all due respect,
Syed Asad Abbas is on the debate with Rupa Ganguly.
You are a fantastic, dynamic woman politician, ma'am. But I honestly feel this is selectively condemning only because you haven't heard, ma'am. You will not condemn such language used by Mr. Dilip Ghosh. Ma'am, we expect greatly out of you. You're a symbol of women empowerment and a dynamic politician.
You tell me.
But only because you've not heard. There are facts, there are videos, there are audios of Mr. Dilip
I don't know, you
Mr.
SMS
Dilip
me.
Ghosh using such
If you don't
obscene
want
language.
to say it, if you don't want to
only
repeat
because
it,
you haven't heard,
if you
ma'am,
don't want to
there is a
repeat
crime
it on
committed,
national network,
only because I
then
have not heard it,
SMS
only
me.
because I have not seen
SMS
it, I
me
will not
now.
condemn it. Ma'am, this is
Rupa
being selective.
Ganguly telling
We, the
you,
youth of this country,
SMS,
have great
I don't know.
expectations.
I cannot condemn without knowing what he has said. If you know the line, if you know the word,
No, you are you trying to? Okay. She has made her point. Raghav Awasthi is on the debate with Ehtashamul Haq. We can't be stuck on one point. The point is about violence as well. If somebody has used inappropriate words, that does not justify violence. Raghav Awasthi is on the debate. Raghav with Muhammad Ehtashamul Haq, who's General Secretary of the Trinamool Congress Minority Cell. I think we are dodging the debate of violence. Raghav.
Members of the Trinamool Congress want to behave like Hitler's Schutzstaffen. Members of the Trinamool Congress want to behave like Hitler's Schutzstaffen. Their MP Mahua Moitra wants to take to the streets as if she wants to emulate Mussolini's march to Rome and Hitler's Schutzstaffen. But she should learn history. She should revisit history. Those who behave like fascists doesn't end very well for them. Benito Mussolini's body was strung up in Milan for 3 days and people spat on his body. And all of Hitler's lieutenants had to go through trials in Nuremberg. So, if she wants to take to the streets, if her party workers want to pelt the democratically elected president of the world's largest political parties with stones, then we know how to deal with fascists. There are enough precedents as to how fascists are dealt with. People
Muhammad Ehtashamul Haq. Muhammad Ehtashamul Haq. I request you, Muhammad Ehtashamul Haq, please tell me, your party chief Mamta Banerjee reduced the attack on JP Nadda to a joke.
Hello.
Gopal Krishna Agarwal and Karuna are also on the debate. Gopal Krishna Agarwal will come into this. She called it Nautanki. I want you to tell Gopal Krishna Agarwal what is the meaning of Nautanki. When a person has suffered a murderous attack, who calls it Nautanki? Please. You have reduced dangerous political violence to a joke.
Absolutely. Not only it is not only that she is calling it Nautanki, but she has used abusive language. And even the governor said, what she said was outsider. Why these outsiders are coming to Bengal, West Bengal? What is there in the federal structure? Anybody who is a citizen of the country can go anywhere. It was only in Kashmir that there was certain restrictions. But now there is no restriction on such movements across the country. So if she thinks that West Bengal is her domain, what she wants to do?
Ehtashamul Haq, not just that, Abhishek Banerjee also brushed off the attack saying, what can I do about it? Outburst of anger is not my responsibility. He was almost justifying the murderous attack on JP Nadda. You are not taking any responsibility. Have you become desperate? Have you become desperate, Mr. Haq? Mr. Haq, reply to me. Have you become desperate?
Who is responsible for
I lost the
law and order in
connection.
the state?
I lost the connection with Mr. Haq. Syed Abbas,
we have to ask who is
Syed Abbas,
responsible for
you
law
have
and
called
order
it a staged attack. You have called it a staged attack. Karuna Gopal also on the debate. It was called a stage attack. And in fact, Mahua Moitra said, BYOS, bring your own security. It was incredible that this level of a casual response happened when there was an attack on the BJP chief. They said, Karuna Gopal, they said bricks were hurled to get front page headlines. It was alleged the BJP carried out the attack by itself. Karuna Gopal, please. I am more concerned about this than anything else. Karuna Gopal, on the left, debating right now with Anirban Banerjee. Karuna Gopal on the left and Anirban on the right, please. Yes, go on.
So, Arnab, I think Mamata Banerjee is setting such a dangerous precedent. You just spoke about the federal system, and whatever she has done is going to really impact the entire federal system. A whole bunch of chief ministers who oppose our NDA can actually resort to similar ways. Now, let me explain what she has done. The police force, which is supposed to be committed to neutrality, she has emasculated the police force. She has, pardon me for using this word, she has neutered the police force, and they stand as spectators when our people are being beaten up. And in the last 2 years, almost close to 100 Karyakartas of Bharatiya Janata Party have been murdered in the state of West Bengal.
There you go, ma'am. Get the number at least.
She's setting a very dangerous precedent. Let me tell you that. And the entire national security can be put to threat by what Mamata Banerjee is doing.
Even when you are lying, have some training. Amit Malviya is a master at lying. Get some classes from him. Give a single number, 10 of you. 10 different channels, 10 different numbers.
Can you deny 80 people from our party have been killed? Anirban.
Yes, I am denying it.
How can you?
Because
now, can you? So you must be also denying. You must be also denying the fact that your DGP is refusing to go to Delhi.
The number. Whenever there is an unfortunate death of a Bengal, if these outsider scavengers just jump in, they will fly in, and they will start jumping around, because this is the kind of political scavenging that you must do on the flesh and blood of a Bengali person. Whenever there is an unfortunate death, the BJP leaders fly in and they will start screaming, this was my Karyakarta.
There have been 47 political killings since the 2019 Lok Sabha elections. Watch your words. The freedom of the media has been eroded. The police swoops down on a journalist's house, for a sting operation on Trinamool Congress leaders. And don't make me open my mouth. You know exactly what's going on. Even the editor of one of the largest circulated newspapers was forced to quit after FIRs and police summons in Bengal. Everybody knows about it. You think you will try and control the media in Bengal? You think you will silence people by doing so? You think the people of the country are not listening? You think there will be no independent media in Bengal? There will be independent media in Bengal. The voice of the people will be heard in Bengal. Watch my words today. 300 people, including critics and BJP workers, have been arrested in 6 months. You think you will get away with it? And who's an outsider? Is Rupa Ganguly an outsider? What is this outsider talk?
I'll tell you.
Is Rupa Ganguly an outsider?
I will tell you.
Tell me.
Let me counter.
No. Is Rupa Ganguly, what is this outsider insider rubbish? What is this outsider insider rubbish? Rupa Ganguly, I want your response. They say constantly this is a party of outsiders. Well, the party that you call a party of outsiders got 45% vote share in the Lok Sabha elections. Are 45% of the people of Bengal outsiders, Anirban? Tell me if you can. Are 45% of the people of Bengal who voted for the BJP outsiders? I mean, you've been proven so wrong so many times. I want Rupa Ganguly on this, on the insider outsider talk. Come on.
ये तो मुझे बता दो.
Come on.
ये तो मुझे बता दो कि ये जो आउटसाइडर करके कहे जा रहे हैं, ये भारत क्या एक भारत नहीं है. भारत नहीं है. आज ये साबित होना चाहिए आप लोगों के द्वारा कि ये पश्चिम बंगाल जाने के लिए हमको वीजा चाहिए होगा. यही आपका सपना है. यही सपना है आपका.
ঠাকুর কোথায় জন্মেছিলেন এইটুকু বলুন.
আপনি জানেন না?
বিজেপি
আপনি জানেন না?
বিজেপি টুইট করছে.
জোড়াসাঁকোয় আপনি জানেন না?
হ্যাঁ, তাহলে বিজেপিকে পার্টি অফ আউটসাইডার্স they tweet that Rabindranath Tagore was born in Shantiniketan. This is why I call the BJP and party of outsiders.
Why are you trying to appropriate Rabindranath Tagore? No, 1 second. Why are you trying to appropriate him? How dare you? How dare you link one of Bengal's legendary figures to a political party? A political party? You should be ashamed of yourself, Anirban.
Yes.
Tomorrow you'll talk about Satyajit Ray. Tomorrow you'll talk about Netaji. How dare you? How dare you reduce these legends to politics? Rupa Ganguly, I think the debate should be on the other way around. How dare you?
आप मुझे ये बता दो अर्नब, आप मुझे ये बता दो कि अगर कोई आईटी सेल का कोई आदमी एक गलत पोस्ट कर लेता है, एक गलत शब्द लगा देता है, उनकी जानकारी की नहीं कम है जानकारी. मानती हूँ मैं उनकी जानकारी कम है. इसके लिए पूरे बंगाली जितने सारे बंगाल के बाहर के लोग हैं, पश्चिम बंगाल में रह रहे इतने सालों से, पश्चिम बंगाल में रह रहे कितने लोग जो पश्चिम बंगाल की इकोनॉमिक स्टेटा को बनाए रखे, अभी भी बचाए रखे, वो सारे कितने बंगाली है और कितने आउटसाइडर्स है आपके लिए? कितने आउटसाइडर्स आपके लिए?
No. He is now saying no. 1 second. Oh, 1 second. Anirban is now questioning Rupa Ganguly whether she's a Bengali because she's speaking in Hindi. Anirban, শোনো. No, Anirban, শোনো. রূপা গাঙ্গুলি হিন্দিতে কথা বললে তাহলে আপনাকে অসুবিধা কি হচ্ছে আপনার? উনি বাংলাতেও কথা বলতে পারেন. আপনার অসুবিধাটা কি? আপনি ইনসাইডার আউটসাইডার এই ব্যাপারটা কি আরম্ভ করেছেন? ইনসাইডার আউটসাইডার? আরে আপনি কোভিডে কি করেছেন বলুন? আপনি আমফানের সময় কি করেছেন বলুন? আপনি কি করেছিলেন? আপনার সরকার কোথায় ছিল আমফানের মধ্যে? কোথায় ছিল বলুন দাদা? না বলুন দাদা. Where were you during আমফান? No, please tell me. কোভিডের মিসম্যানেজমেন্ট কে করেছে? কলকাতার হাসপাতালের সিচুয়েশন গুলো দেখেছেন আপনি? Have you seen the situation of the hospitals in Bengal? কি এসব আরম্ভ করেছেন আপনি? What are you talking about?
मैं
Come on
हिंदी
now.
सीखूंगी
Come on now.
मैं हिंदी
Don't try to
सीखूंगी
do
और मैं
this.
हिंदी में
Don't try to.
बोलूंगी।
The people of Bengal are too intelligent. They will see through this.
I am learning
They will
Hindi.
see through this.
I am learning
They will
Hindi
see
and
through
I
this.
will learn Hindi.
आपने की
I keep
भेजे
on talking in Hindi.
आपने की भेजे
I love to speak in Hindi.
आपने कोलकाता
I will
मीडिया
speak
উপরে
in Hindi.
প্রেসার দিয়ে আপনি কতদিন চালাবেন? How long will you try and suppress the media in Bengal?
As many languages as possible.
Apni, please don't do this. Don't do this. Don't do this.
I'm a proud
Don't do this.
Indian and I
Karuna
will learn
Gopal is back on the debate right now. Karuna Gopal is back on the debate with Syed Asad Abbas. Come on now. Law and order is completely broken down now. We must address the
They are
fact.
trying to deviate the whole issue from the law and order.
Karuna ji, if I could quickly counter
They are
you,
trying to
please.
deviate the whole issue from
Karuna
the
ji,
law and
first,
order.
I know
the word you
Rupa
used-
Ganguly. I know Rupa
the word
Ganguly.
you used to disrespect the state police. Isn't that wrong, ma'am? You called the police as to be neutered. Are they dogs? Is this a language which BJP speaks? Today you slam Mamta government. You disrespect the state's police to being neutered. Isn't that wrong, ma'am? Why don't you take a mirror and self-respect? Mr. RSS Avasti comes and speaks of Muammar Gaddafi, Hitler. Sir, what are you doing? Benito Mussolini? Sir, core
Raghav Avasti.
competency of BJP is yours.
just by
Insider,
listening to a
outsider
word.
has
No,
been
please.
done by Yogi
Karuna Gopal.
She behaves like
Karuna Gopal is responding.
Mahua Motra and Mamta Banerjee will end up like Mussolini, Hitler, Goring and Goebbels. She behaves like them.
Please
She will
stop it
end
now.
up
No
like
more
them.
violence. Talk 1 second. I want Karuna Gopal on the debate. Please, Raghav Avasti. No expressions of violence on the program tonight. We want a healthy political debate, but not this. Thank you, Mahua. 1 second, please. 1 second, Karuna Gopal. Everyone calm down. We are completely against political violence of any kind. Karuna Gopal. Karuna Gopal.
So when the chief secretary,
It was Karuna
and the
Gopal's turn
director
to Ehteshamul, Muhammad Ehteshamul
GP
Haq.
and were called, summoned by the Ministry of Home Affairs. They were not allowed to go there. Now, what do you call that? Because MHA is the cadre controlling authority of the police, and they themselves have not even gone there. So, what do you say? What is your argument when I use words like they have been enslaved by the chief minister? I'm not making a mistake.
Muhammad Ehteshamul Haq. Muhammad Ehteshamul Haq. You need to, today, Mr. Haq, the situation is so bad that West Bengal has topped the list with political killings. Ehteshamul Haq ji, सबसे ज्यादा राजनीतिक किलिंग जो है मर्डर होते हैं बंगाल में होते हैं आज. ये कब तक चलता रहेगा? और आपकी पार्टी के लीडर why is she in denial about it? इसको नौटंकी क्यों कहती है?
सर देखिए, यहाँ सबसे बेहतरीन आप देखिए पूरे भारत में हमारे राज्य में जो भी अभी प्रॉब्लम हो रहा है वो सब इसको प्रॉब्लम यहाँ पे एक किया जा रहा है, ठीक है ना? तो ये हम बोलना चाहते हैं अर्नब भाई, यहाँ जो है इश्यूज को बनाया जा रहा है, मुद्दा को बनाया जा रहा है, ममता बनर्जी हुकूमत को बदनाम करने के लिए बहुत सी कोशिश की जा रही है. यहाँ जो है हम लोग का डेमोक्रेसी ठीक से चल रहा है, लेकिन यहाँ दूसरे हिसाब से मतलब भारतीय जनता पार्टी के जो यहाँ प्रभारी घोष जी है,
प्रजातंत्र के नाम पे जिस तरह का धब्बा ममता बनर्जी कर रही है, जिस तरह से वायलेंस कर रही है, जिस तरह के शब्दों का प्रयोग कर रही है, और आप लॉ एंड ऑर्डर की जिम्मेदारी किसकी है? फेडरल स्ट्रक्चर में लॉ एंड ऑर्डर की जिम्मेदारी स्टेट गवर्नमेंट की है, और अगर स्टेट गवर्नमेंट अपनी जिम्मेदारी नहीं निभाती तो उसकी जिम्मेदारी किसकी है? आज ये बहुत बड़ा गेम प्लान जो पश्चिम बंगाल कर रही है, आपकी सरकार कर रही है, जो नेत्री है, नेत्री आज फ्रस्ट्रेशन में उनके चेहरे से साफ दिख रहा है, ममता बनर्जी के चेहरे से साफ झलक रहा है, फ्रस्ट्रेशन है, पूरी तरह से फेलियर उनका दिख रहा है, लॉ एंड ऑर्डर उनका फेलियर नहीं है, बड़ा गेम प्लान करना चाहती है. She wants to play a victim card. She is trying to just say that the central government should dismiss it so that she could play a victim card. That is the game plan that she is now playing on the West Bengal politics. One after another, killing of different BJP karyakartas. First she tried that they should run out of Bengal for fear. Nobody should just say anything to her. But when our karyakartas stood the ground, after all these atrocities, they lost their lives. They still fought for the democratic right. When she saw that this is not going to deter them, now she is attacking our leaders. What is this? Who is responsible for law and order? Is Mamata Banerjee not the responsibility of law and order? If there is a failure of law and order, who has to be held accountable? If there was violence, first you have to
Well, she has the home portfolio. She has the home portfolio. She has the home portfolio. Viewers, I'll have to close it there. Viewers, I'll have to close it there because I'm wrapping up. We are all concerned about the situation in Bengal, and I'm particularly concerned about the manner in which there have been attempts made to suppress the media. Bengal deserves an independent media. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to wrap up tonight.